In the spirit of freedom, we were hoping to have some thoughts shared. I think we were just very, very inspired by listening to Carol, and just to continue the inspirational quotes. We're going to have some of our Hispanic leadership graduates share some of these quotes with us.
I tried to drown my sorrows, but the bastards learned how to swim. And now I am overwhelmed by this decent and good feeling.
Thank you for that. So, good evening. My name is Elizabeth Ellie Moringo, and I have a story to share with you about myself in the topic of pursuing or overcoming adversity. So, I used to weigh 362.8 pounds. Okay? I have lost to date about 150.2 pounds. So one would say, right, round of applause, cheers, this is a great thing, you know, you've lost a lot of weight, and I do believe that. I'm super excited about the progress that I've made in my journey, but the reality is it has been a very, very tough struggle for me, both personally, I think emotionally, spiritually, being morbidly obese for as long as I was, is something that really does take a toll on you personally. When you think about the term adversity and really what that means, it's really a misfortune, you know, someone dealing with a burden, a struggle. Maybe there's a point of time, right, where you're pegged by something that now you have to carry a certain weight that you have to overcome. And so for me, that has been a lifetime. So a little bit about myself and my background. So I am Puerto Rican by nationality, ethnicity. So that's what So I'm Puerto Rican. So and just like many Latin, you know, women in the room and any culture, I mean, hey, we love food, right? It is like the center of what we do, right? Let's go to happy hour, let's have dinner, let's enjoy life. And so, you know, eating a lot was a normal way of living, I think, for many of us, for me in particular. But it was a struggle. You know, I have an older sister who's beautiful. She's a normal size, whatever that word means. To me, she's normal. And when she gains 10 pounds, it takes her like 5 minutes to take it off, right? The sheets. That girl you look at, you're like, really, why? And if that wasn't the worst part of it, I have a twin sister who is like a size 6, right? So having like the constant like image of what I should look like, because we're twins, it's like growing up, you know, everybody would be like, oh, la flaquita, that's the skinny one. And I would be like, ah, la gordita, which is like the chubby one, right? That's like what I grew up hearing my whole life. And so, you know, and I was always super confident, right? Like Latina with curves, I got this. I was not really affected by my weight until I really was. So about 5 or 10 years ago, you know, it really started to take a big toll on me and in my life. You know, I moved to St. Louis about 10 years ago, and every year it was 5 pounds, it was 10 pounds, until I literally tipped the scale at 350. And so just like most people, right, you're like, oh, I'll get a trainer, because that's gonna fix the world. So I invested in this expensive trainer, and I get a trainer, and I went like maybe twice a month, did not yield any result, except it really taught me one thing. She invited me to stay after one day, and she was like, you know, Ellie, you know, I really want to talk to you about your weight loss. You keep saying that you want to lose weight, and you think, you know, that, you know, you're coming here, but it's a total package. You know, you have to really put forth effort, whether it's your food, your diet, your way of living. I think, you know, you're going to be extremely successful. I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll be a CEO one day of a company. You know, I train CEOs and senior leaders all the time, and they're healthy. They're healthy people. They wake up, they eat healthy, they drink their water. Do you do all these things? And I'm like, yeah. I wasn't doing any of them. And I'm like, totally. And so I walk out of that training session kind of thinking like, whatever, my weight is not about to stop me. Like, I'm gonna run the world and that's what I'm gonna do. And sure enough, a couple months later, I get invited to go on my first business trip. So this is big time, right? I'm going to Cabo St. Lucas. I'm running the meeting. I got to be in this company jet. I'm like, I was on top of the world at that point. So I'm at this meeting and everything's great, interacting with senior leaders, board members. And I remember our first dinner, we go to dinner and I'm just on cloud 10 and I go to sit down because they're like, oh, Miss Camino Señorita, because I got to flex my Spanish there because we were in Mexico, so I was just super happy. So I go to sit down and they pulled the chair out and I didn't fit in the chair. Like I was that big, I couldn't fit in the chair. And the chair was like this pretty Mexican, like woodwork thing, and I just couldn't get down. And the gentleman, thank God, his mother raised him right. He like quickly got another chair, and he said, no, your seat's over here. But for the rest of that trip, that man looked at me every time I walked into the restaurant and pulled out a different chair so I would feel comfortable. But what that did to me is I completely like started to come back. I was like I sheltered myself. It really changed me at my core. And only now I can really see that. You know, if I fast forward, you know, maybe a year later, I was at my sister's wedding, she's getting married, I'm her maid of honor. And I'm like, I'm trying to make a lifestyle change, like it didn't fit in the chair, like I gotta do something, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna lose weight for this wedding, this is gonna happen. And so here I am, I'm like realistic. I wasn't gonna say I'm gonna lose like 100 pounds, even though I needed to. I said I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, one size, right? I just wanna be a size 26, because she's like a 6, instead of like a 28, because I was like a 28 at that time, right? And so I ordered the dress in a 26, worked out for what I thought was a good workout, I thought was a good 6 months, and I didn't lose enough weight, the dress didn't fit. So I had to take it to an altar, get it completely redesigned, and thank goodness I was a matron of honor and made the joke that I was special and got a fancy dress, but that really wasn't the case. So it really felt like, wow, something's gotta give. So I get the pictures back, and that day was just probably one of the most traumatic days of my life, right? So I get these pictures back, and I look at myself, and I look legit like I'm 8 months pregnant, like in all of these pictures. And I remember just sitting in my car, I'm on my way to work, and I'm kind of in tears, like, wow, you're that big. Like, you really are that big. The pictures show it. And I call my best friend at the time, and I call him, and I'm like, Henry, and he's like, oh, what's up, Els? You know, let's talk, as we always did in the morning time. And I'm talking to him, and I'm saying, I really, like these pictures, I look like I'm 8 months pregnant, I gotta lose weight, but I was working out. And he's like, but were you? Like, were you really trying, Ellie? And I'm like, yeah, I was totally trying. And he's like, but we've been best friends for like 5, 6, 10 years almost. And he's like, you've been talking about your weight for as long as I've known you. And sure, you tried, but do you try hard enough? Or have you tried the right things to really help you? And he said, have you considered weight loss surgery? And I said, no, do not even utter those words. Like, I am not having weight loss surgery. That's not for me. I'm 30, 31 at the time. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And he's like, well, why not? He's like, Ellie, sometimes people need a little help. He's like, you have a great career, you've got your degrees, you have everything in line, but do you have, like, sometimes you just need help. He's like, why don't you just call, right, and just get some information and see if it will help. So I'm crying, he's giving me all this advice, and he's like, if it does not work, I promise you this. He's like, if it's not for you, I will sit there and I will be with you every step of the way. I'll write the plans for you, we'll work out, when you come home, we'll do whatever it takes, and you're gonna get this weight off. And I thought, okay, I trust you, you're my best friend, I guess I'll listen. So by the time I got in my office, still crying, it was like a 5-hour cry attack, it was pretty dramatic. But he probably didn't expect me to cry that long. He's like, oh shit, what did I think? Sorry, my husband. He's probably like, what did I get myself into? So I cried, we got over it. And so fast forward, 2 months later, I made the decision to have weight loss surgery. And I do feel like God has a way of kind of coming into your life when we need him. That my surgeon at SSM, Mexican, talked a lot about just genetics and culture and just life, and sometimes we need a little push, right? So story for kind of another day. But had the surgeon made the decision to have surgery. It was about 5 months later. But when I made the decision at that 2 months, I told myself, I really do have to make a change, right? I have to change the way I operate. So yes, I go to the gym, and I had about 3 memberships, because that's like the cool thing to do, is have a bunch of memberships to gyms, right? And get all the cool t-shirts that are like in style now. So I started doing all of that. And so I go to the gym, and I start to look around, because I have tons of friends that I go out with. I'm super social. But I go to the gym, and I start to kind of look around the room to figure out, well, who can I be friends with, man? Because I gotta be friends with someone who's already doing this. I can't, my friends are gonna come because maybe they don't need to do it as much as me. And I remember looking at this one girl, she's tall and she's slim and she's super beautiful. And I remember, I'm like, if I could just look like her, I'm just gonna look at her, because she's second row, she's super confident, she's like bubbly personality. I'm like, I'll be friends with her. And I'll come every time and I'll just kind of look at her. And then through kind of happenstance, we were just talking and met another friend. And then she's kind of like a gym rat. She wakes up every morning at 6 o'clock. She takes the 6 o'clock classes. She's taking the Zumba at 6:30. I gotta be friends with her because she's the one that's always gonna show up when I'm like not trying to get in bed. And then I thought to myself, if all else fails, to be friends with the teacher, because she's gotta show up, right? Because she's the teacher. So then I'm like, I'm gonna be friends with the gym teacher. So, I made friends with someone who was already in that space, right? So these 3 women who were just like Zumba friends, who were just cool people to hang out with, have become like sisters to me, right? Because they were in a space that I needed to be in, and I needed to pick someone who was already there to continue to build that accountability. So often we hear about find that accountability partner, but what they don't tell you is sometimes you just want to pick your friend to help be accountable, and sometimes it does not work, right? And so, fast forward, I had surgery. One of the things that I learned in my journey was, have a vision of what you want your life to be like, right? So, whatever it is, whether it's a weight loss number, whether it's, something you want to do, and so I had a whole board, and I still do to this day, of all these visions, right? I don't want a seatbelt extension to wear that anymore. I want to be small enough that I don't need the extension. I want to be able to wear heels again and be comfortable. I want to be able to walk up the stairs and not get winded. I mean, who knows? I want to find love and get married and have children and be healthy enough to do all of that stuff. And at my wedding, be happy because the dress fit, And so you fast forward, and one of the things that I think has been so successful for me and has helped me keep the weight off is, in particular to that third point, is that it doesn't look like I thought it would. On the board I thought, hey, I'm gonna wear a bathing suit and I'm gonna look sexy on the beach, and I don't look sexy in a bathing suit. I don't even own one, to be honest with you. I have shorts and a t-shirt that I wear. And, I don't look any cuter, I guess, naked, if you will, than I did before. I mean, I'm wearing Spanx from like the neck down. It's my reality. In a room full of women, I can tell you all that. And for the men, Spanx exists, okay? And so that's my reality. And so I think, as life continues in the last couple of years, I really had to adjust a little bit of that image, of what happiness looks like, And no, I'm not married, I don't have kids, I don't have any of those things, and that's okay, because really my journey was I wanted to be healthier, right? I want to be healthy, and I want to live a healthy life, And so if in this little story, adversity for me, this was a big deal. It's a struggle that I've had for years, and it will continue to have, I think, for the rest of my life, is managing my weight and managing what I look like, etc. But I think for anybody in this room, it might be, maybe dealing with depression, or maybe it's dealing with any kind of alcoholism, or maybe it's dealing with sexual orientation and coming out. I mean, it could be a million things, but I think the couple things, if I could just give you a couple words of wisdom or some nuggets of inspiration, I think the first thing is, finding your person that you trust. My best friend Henry, to me, was a person who literally put the mirror in front of me and told me, hey, Ellie, you can't do it alone, but then was also the person I trusted who walked with me every single step of my journey. He was the person that the day the hospital called, and up until he lost 150, and to this day, checks in on me, make sure that I'm staying focused on what I want to do. And sometimes we need the person we trust. And I think it's important to differentiate what that means. I'm not saying call the friend, it's like me, I call the friend with what I want. So if I want to buy like a $500 bag, like I'm gonna call the friend that's gonna tell me, yeah, get the bag, you deserve it. I'm not saying call that friend, I'm saying call the friend that's gonna tell you the truth about what you need to hear, but then also be balanced enough to give you the wisdom that you need on the side or the support on the side. The second, I think, is finding a group of people or a connection point, someone that's already in that space that you can latch onto, and I think that's okay. I think so often we get in our cliques of friends and we have our circle of who we want to be with, and you feel bad because you want to make new friends, or maybe your old friends don't fit your new friends. I mean, whatever that situation is, I think it is extremely important to find people that are working in that space so that you can have them as an accountability partner, and it's a little bit easier along the journey. And I think the third thing that is really important, I think, to me, is just being realistic about the journey and course correcting. Because the reality is, it's not always going to look like you thought it was. The vision that you might have had at the beginning might not be the vision it ends at that time, but I think you being aware of that will help you figure out, how do I need to adjust throughout that time, so that at the end of it, or as you're continually trying to adjust, right, that you find happiness at the end. Because today I would say that I am definitely happy and super healthy. So thank you.